Good evening, Bahamas. Coming up tonight.
An early morning murder through 2nd Street. We've got the details. Who made this year's Queen's Honors List? Foreign fishermen to sue the government. Plus, what you need to know about the plastics ban.
Our News is brought to you by Alive.
Welcome to Our News and thanks for joining us. I'm Kyle Joaquin. A man was shot and killed on 2nd Street, Coconut Grove around 2 this morning. Residents say they heard 2 people arguing before gunshots rang out. This latest killing brings the murder count for the year to 96. Jared Higgs reports.
Police say officers were alerted to gunshots on Robinson Road just before 2 a.m. Monday morning. Responding officers discovered the body of a man lying on the ground at 2nd Street, Coconut Grove. Paramedics were called to the scene and attempted to revive him, but he was pronounced dead on scene.
I was laying out sleeping.
63-year-old Harris Moxie is a fruit vendor who lives nearby to where the killing took place. He says he heard a commotion.
I hear an argument, like an argument is out here with a woman and a man arguing, and all of a sudden I hear this motorbike just pull up and offload about several shots.
Moxie says by the time he headed outside, police investigators had already descended on the scene. He says a Honda was parked, but he didn't see anybody in the vehicle. Another passerby says the man ran from the vehicle and collapsed nearby. A small pool of blood could still be seen hours after his killing. Neighbors also told Our News that the man left the party further down the road on 2nd Street.
I don't get involved with people's business because we got a lot of troubled people living around here. You know, you don't get in their business. They will kill you.
This killing will push 2019's murder count even further past 2018's figure. Coconut Grove residents offered mixed reaction to crime in the area. Some say many of the community's troublemakers have been killed or jailed, leaving residents feeling much safer. However, Moxie didn't agree. Reporting for Our News, I'm Jared Higgs.
Leaders of the Rastafarian community are calling on government to decriminalize the possession of 2 ounces of marijuana. Their suggestion comes in response to the Marijuana Commission's leaked report, which recommends the decriminalization of up to 1 ounce of the substance. Bethany McDermott reports.
While the Rastafarian community agrees with portions of that report from the Bahamas Commission on Marijuana, priest Raymond Prince says that up to 2 ounces of the drug should be decriminalized instead of 1.
It could have get two ounces because more time a man now in the congregation, one would be using chalice. And you see chalice now is more than a spliff. Chalice can take all 5-6 spliff in there for it to minister around, you know, because it's our sacrament.
The report recommends the legalization of medicinal marijuana and the decriminalization of possession of up to 1 ounce of the substance. It also proposes that individuals over 21 should be allowed to use marijuana for recreational purposes, while anyone over 18 be allowed to use the substance for medicinal purposes.
I would like to see the little youth them on the street or anywhere with spliff in their mouth or whatever, nowhere, because they don't reach to that age yet, as yet. So I would agree, 18.
Prince supported government's decision to launch an education campaign on marijuana, including in the nation's schools, while some church leaders have spoken out against the substance, insisting that Bahamians are being set up for a lifetime of drug addiction. He insisted marijuana is not dangerous and its decriminalization is long overdue.
I would agree with the government to really educate the youth them to control, because you know more time one do things over the limit. You see what I mean? So we not like it for control, but then it will legalize freedom, international repatriation.
The Commission's draft report also recommends the use of marijuana as a sacrament for Rastafarians. Prince acknowledged that some Bahamians are critical of their way of life.
Well, I is not a religion really still, you know. You know, I Ethiopian International Congress is not a religion. I personal want to tell the I say, the criticism is for those people who don't really understand. Because if they understand what herb can do, you have a lot of people out there dying for asthma, dying for all kind of sickness. And you see this herb business cure all kind of sickness.
The commission is expected to submit its final report to Cabinet in January. Reporting for Our News, I'm Berthany McDermott.
Businessman Godfrey Kelly tops the Queen's New Year's honors list, which names 22 Bahamians of various backgrounds, including Free National Movement Chairman Carl Culmer and Bahamasir Chairman Tommy Turnquest, who are both being honored for service to politics. Kelly, a four-time Bahamian Olympic sailor and former politician, has been named Knight Commander of the Order of St. Michael and St. George for services to business and sports. Turnquest, Peter Golandris, and Reverend Dr. Carrington Pinder are receiving the Commander of the Most Excellent Order of the British Empire. Turnquest is also being honored for service to the public service, Pinder for religion and the community, and Golandris for service to business. Turnquest also received a national honor just several months ago. Asked whether he saw a contradiction in receiving both honors, Turnquest said he thinks that the government has decided to retain both sets of awards.
Well, in less than 48 hours, your checkout aisle in the food store will look a bit different. Throughout many stores, plastic shopping bags will be taken off the shelves, while some will charge 25 cents per plastic bag. This as the new Environmental Protection Act 2019 takes effect.
These styrofoam cups as of July 1st, 2020 will not be on the shelf anymore. As of January 1st, they will be banned from import. However, the plastic cups will still remain.
According to Lindy Bowe, Environmental Officer in the Ministry of Environment, there are two dates you will want to remember regarding government's plastics ban: January 1st, 2020 and July 1st, 2020. As of Wednesday, no business or person will be able to import single-use plastics or single-use styrofoam products, like plastic knives, spoons, forks, plates, and cups.
The styrofoam plates will also be banned as of July 1st, 2020. Again, January 1st will no longer be allowed to be imported into the country. So all of these, as of July 1st, you will not be able to come into any store, Solomon's or any store, and find them on the shelf.
However, the government is giving businesses a 6-month grace period to sell the remainder of their single-use plastics, which is why you will still see them on the shelves. But what about essentials like garbage bags and Ziploc bags? You only use them once.
So these over here, these are gonna be fine. I'm gonna just grab one.
That's why stay cup and baggy forever.
So those are gonna be fine.
They are gonna be fine.
And the garbage bags over here.
Garbage bags are gonna be fine. Yes. So paper plates, this is actually one of the alternatives that will be allowed as part of the ban. They're actually compostable, so they're made from plant-based material, and they have a compostable plastic lining in it that kind of prevents food from seeping through into the paper.
Another aspect of this plastics ban: balloons. The popular release of balloons of celebration will be illegal as of Wednesday. And when it comes to the popular plastic bags we're accustomed to in grocery stores, Bo explained they'll now cost you 25 cents per bag if you choose not to bring your own reusable bag.
If I want to use this, 25 cents.
January 1st, if you come into the store and you do not bring a reusable bag with you, you will have to pay anywhere from 25 cents to $1 prior to VAT for that bag.
For this one bag?
For that one bag.
One company getting rid of plastic bags altogether on New Year's Day is AML Foods, which runs Solomon's, Fresh Market, and Costrite. Instead, consumers will be encouraged to bring their own bag or purchase a reusable bag for $1.49.
We also have them branded for Fresh Market, and we also have bags that will be available branded Costrite in Costrite. But we will not, as a company, be distributing the plastic bags. You will have to either come in with your own bags or purchase bags at the point of sale.
While some customers praise government's decision to rid the country of single-use plastics in the new year, others aren't so happy, insisting they have enough grocery store plastic bags saved up to last them for the next year. Georgia Bain has that angle.
Are you ready to trade your plastic bags in for something a little bit more durable? What about those styrofoam cups for something a little bit more eco-friendly? Well, customers and stores tell us how they're getting prepared for the 2020 plastic ban. Variety Disposable Products General Manager Anwar Knowles said businesses should have been giving more time ahead of the upcoming plastics ban, adding customer feedback on the products has not been favorable.
Yeah, there have been some feedback that wasn't too favorable. So for us on our end, what we need to now do is source products that will be more in the best interest of the use of how the consumer will be using them.
Plastic knives, spoons, forks, plates, and cups will soon be a thing of the past, while stores will either have to get rid of plastic bags or charge customers 25 cents for each plastic bag that they pack their groceries in. Over at Super Value, these customers said that the solution is simple.
Tell them give you a paper bag then, and that's finishes right here. You can ban any product, but then therefore you should have a backup plan going forward. And such, if you remove the plastic bag, then they should have something in place.
Meanwhile, these shoppers say while it will take some getting used to, they're happy about the move, which will help to protect the environment.
I feel good because it's for the environment. The beaches are always dirty. We just have to prepare. I've been getting bags. Yesterday I spoke to my daughter-in-law about ordering good bags. So we will have them. But we leave these bags all over the place. And it's really not good for the environment. So I'm happy.
That's a hard thing right there now when you really look at it. But they have the bags, the brown bags, I think it'll be better because disposal of these is be kind of hard too. They don't need to be a mess.
Well, I think it'll be safer for the environment because I saw firsthand what it is doing with marine resources and other things. Plastic ought to be banned. It is not healthy.
I know places like Bermuda that's been, they had their ban done from a few years ago, at least 10 years ago.
However, not everyone agrees.
This ain't doing nothing to the environment. The only thing doing something to the environment is they got to stop dredging.
Doris Newton, who was picking up some new eco-friendly containers for her church South, said the whole thing seems to be money motivated.
One time ago we had brown paper bags, right? Somebody invented plastic to make money. Now somebody want to do away with the plastic to make more money. That's how I see it. But if we dispose of it properly, anything we dispose of properly, it could be resolved. So this is a making money scheme, okay?
Meanwhile, this customer said he'll be using his plastic bags for months to come.
But I don't know where they're going to end because I keep it nice. I got plenty home. And that ain't what I get home and I use it for next year.
Reporting for Our News, I'm Giorgio Bain.
All right, thanks, Giorgio. Still to come, why some foreign fishermen are suing the government. Plus, evacuees find employment in Exuma. The details after this break.
From TV to phone to fast internet, how can we show appreciation for the 25 years you've been with Rev? To celebrate our 25th birthday, Rev is rewarding 250 lucky customers with $250,000 cash back. Simply switch to Trio, upgrade to Trio, or pay your bill in full and have your chance to win cash this Christmas. Just call 601-8992 or email us at trio@cablebahamas.com. Rev, you and us together.
Watching Our News, welcome back. The government is being sued by a group of foreign-born divers who were banned from the current crawfish season. The legal action came nearly 2 months after the agriculture minister insisted the government will enforce a Bahamians-only policy in the industry. Jasmine Brown reports.
The 6-page legal document filed in the Supreme Court by attorney Dion Smith outlines the legal arguments for 20 Dominican and Honduran divers who claim they have been illegally shut out of the 2019-2020 crawfish season. According to the writ, Dominican and Honduran applicants either hold permanent residency or resident spousal permits with the right to work without restrictions and are employed as divers on Bahamian-owned fishing vessels. The Minister of Agriculture and Marine Resources and the Attorney General are named as respondents in the application for leave to apply for judicial review. The document noted the applicants are employed on Bahamian-owned fishing vessels as divers. The fishing vessels they work on specifically fish for crawfish between the months of August and March. The applicants all require a special compressor permit from the Ministry of Agriculture and Marine Resources as divers for this period. It continued the applicants were all issued compressor permits last year, effective from the 1st of August 2018 and which expired on the 31st of March 2019. Subsequently, the applicants made their applications for the renewal of their compressor permits for the period of 1st of August 2019 to the 31st of March 2020. Despite getting permits in the past, the fishermen say this year they were refused compressor permits for the 2019-2020 crawfish season. They say it's because of a policy change announced by Minister of Agriculture and Marine Resources Michael Pintard. At a press conference in early August to mark the opening of the 2019 crawfish season, Pintard insisted that the government is taking a hard position on enforcing the for Bahamians only policy in the industry ending the special provisions which had for years allowed foreign fishers living in the Bahamas on a work permit or spousal permit to participate in the harvesting of crawfish. Their attorney also says the men risk losing their jobs if the refusal remains in effect before the court hands down a ruling. The group is asking the court to allow the applicants to fish on the vessel pending a decision of whether the denial was lawful. They are also asking the court to compel the minister to issue the compressor permits to the applicants, declare that the minister's decision went against the provisions of the Immigration Act, and declare that the decision to deny the permits without notice violated the principles of natural justice. Reporting for Our News, I'm Jasmine Brown.
Well, months after Hurricane Dorian devastated two of the country's top tourist destinations, one island is seeing huge gains. Exuma Island Administrator Irvin Ferguson says business has been booming in recent months. As a result, he says hundreds of Dorian evacuees have found steady work on that island.
Since the passage of Dorian, we have had about 200 evacuees who are now residing in Exuma, and they have had the benefit of employment while they're here.
Hurricane Dorian swept over Abaco and Grand Bahama in early September, leaving devastation in its wake. Government officials have said the storm put a huge dent in those islands' tourism industry, prompting tourism officials to launch a campaign letting the world know other islands are still open for business. Ferguson says Exuma is reaping the benefits of that campaign.
Immediately following the devastation of Abaco and Grand Bahama, we have noticed significant increase in business activity on the island.
Ferguson said the evacuees are employed at various businesses throughout the island.
Many of them are involved in or employed in the domestic sector. For instance, the hotels, the gated communities such as February Point and Grand Isles, and even some of the local restaurants or businesses have employed some of these evacuees.
Still to come, police issue road safety tips ahead of New Year's Eve celebrations. Stay tuned.
From TV to phone to fast internet, how can we show appreciation for the 25 years you've been with Rev? To celebrate our 25th birthday, Rev is rewarding 250 lucky customers with $250,000 cash back. Simply switch to Trio, upgrade to Trio, or pay your bill in full and have your chance to win cash this Christmas. Just call 601-8992 or email us at trio@cablebahamas.com. Rev, you and us together.
As police investigate the circumstances surrounding a Christmas Day car crash that left one man dead, officers are urging motorists to drive safely this holiday season. Police Superintendent Marino Hines said speed played a major factor in the deadly crash.
People do not lose their lives in most instances if speed is not a factor. So we recognize that speed kills, and we would say to persons to respect the speed limits and not to speed because the road is going to be saturated with vehicles.
Hines said motorists should be mindful of the amount of alcohol they consume during New Year's Eve celebrations.
They should drink responsibly, drink in moderation, or not at all. And if they have to partake, we would ask that they exercise a designated driver, someone who does not drink, who's going to traverse them through the streets of New Providence.
Since changes to the Road Traffic Act took effect a few months back, Hines says the amount of tickets handed out have increased drastically. He's reminding motorists that driving with open bottles of alcohol or a cell phone in hand is against the law.
There are a few who have not seen to take it very seriously. They're still driving with their cell phones in hand, and we are exercising the full extent of the law. We're giving those persons citations.
Still to come, how one Junkanoo group helps to keep youngsters out of trouble. Stay tuned.
From TV to phone to fast internet, how can we show appreciation for the 25 years you've been with Rev? To celebrate our 25th birthday, Rev is rewarding 250 lucky customers with $250,000 cash back. Simply switch to Trio, upgrade to Trio, or pay your bill in full and have your chance to win cash this Christmas. Just call 601-8992 or email us at trio@cablebahamas.com. Rev, you and us together.
Welcome back to Our News. On Boxing Day and New Year's morning, Junkanoo groups bring Bay Street to life with colorful costumes and vibrant music. However, one Junkanooer says their work goes far beyond entertainment. They also keep inner-city youth out of trouble. Jared Higgs has more.
Katie Minnis is a school teacher who has rushed with Fancy Dancers Junkanoo group since the early 80s.
It's a family. What person see is just a parade on Bay Street, but what we have here is a family.
Minnis says being involved with Junkanoo has taught her about discipline and commitment. These days, she's focused on giving back.
I grew up in a group, and because I grew up in a group and persons looked out for me when I became older, it was then my time to give back and do the same.
That giving back involves mentoring many young men in the Kemp Road community. She says the Junkanoo Shack is much more than a place where costumes are created.
This is the place where young persons come. This is a refuge. This is a safety zone. This is a home away from home. This is somewhere where they can learn the culture.
Officials have described Kemp Road as a crime hotspot in the past. Minnis says some of the group's young men have had close calls.
One year, some young men got themselves in some problems. And, he sat in the shack and he said, boy, I was glad I was inside the shack when all that was going down. That's what this means to the Kemp Road community.
Another Kemp Road resident hailed the work of the Junkanoo Shack, although she says the group and the people that rely on it need more help than they're getting.
Only the Junkanoo Shack can do it, but it's a strong influence, I must say. The idle time helps with the Junkanoo Shack, and then we got Katie here. She's doing an excellent job with the girls, but we need somebody else. We need somebody else to come and help.
Fancy Dancers placed 5th at the Boxing Day Junkanoo Parade. However, Minnis says they aren't a group that focuses solely on parade results. She says they'll move on better and stronger when they come out on New Year's Day under the theme Africa. Reporting for Our News, I'm Jared Higgs.